Hey guys, welcome in. If this is your first time to my channel, my name's Brittany. This video is going to be a little different than a lot of my others. It's also the first of a series that I wasn't expecting to start today, but it was too appropriate, synchronistic. So I experienced death today, and this series is all about dealing with hard experiences. Here you can see my other turtle, Dr. Ronald, going over to the box that Steve Zissou is in, and I just couldn't believe how he kept following this box around, and it really surprised me and gave me a little bit of something else to think about that we usually don't consider about animals having feelings. So thank you for tuning in, and if this interests you or maybe strikes a chord with something that you haven't dealt with yet, please keep watching. Hey guys, this is so crazy. Last night I sat down writing in my journal, started writing an idea for this new series on this channel, like how to tackle, like making it seem really easy, but topics that are really not so easy to deal with and look at and heal from and experience. And one of those topics was death, and I've experienced some today. And I had other episode ideas for this week, but seeing that this has happened now, I feel like obviously this is presenting itself as something that needs to be talked about. I just got off the phone with my sister a little while ago. Her and I were talking about how lucky and blessed we are to not have experienced very much death at this point in our lives. My grandfather died in a really, really traumatic way 4 years ago, and that's pretty much the only family that we've ever had pass that we've been close to. And I had such an amazing day today. I talked about death a few times with my dad today, talked about my grandfather, and we just had this really, really great day of connecting and a really well-needed conversation. And then I got home, and my roommate, who's a nurse, woke up, and we started talking. Came outside because the weather is so beautiful today. I had my hand on the one turtle that you guys just saw, Dr. Ronald Chevalier, and then I got the idea, like, where's my other turtle? The weather is too nice for him not to be outside. So I came over to the filter and I started thinking of the windstorm that we just had, and I was like, oh my God, please don't let him be in this filter. And I looked and saw his shell, and I was like, oh my God, Clay, and started kind of hyperventilating a little bit. And I was like, I just had a really weird feeling, and he's in here. And I moved the rocks and opened up the filter and just looked at him, and inside I was just like, touch his foot. If he's alive, it'll go back into his shell. And I touched his foot, and it was just limp, and I just started freaking out, ran inside, and like bawled my eyes out for 20 minutes. We've been here for 3.5 years, and I love these turtles. I love these turtles, and it's such a joy taking care of them. I know that our other turtle, Dr. Ronald, is grieving right now. His little head is poking out. I don't know if you guys can see it in the water right now. He just keeps staring at me, and I know that he's grieving. Even just now, for the past few hours, his head has just been moving around so much. And his brother is here in this box, and he's just been staring at the box. And then just now that I came and knelt down next to him, he just started walking back over to me, and I thought he was about to jump back into the water, and went on a little journey this way. And he's just acting very peculiar today, so I know that he knows that his brother is gone. And the conversation that we had today is just about celebrating life and celebrating death. And even though sometimes maybe you don't think it happened the way that it should have happened, death is a very natural process. All of us are going to die one day. There's nothing that we can do about it. Once it's done, it's done. see, even now, my turtle is just like staring up out of the pond at me. I'm like, I know that he's lonely. I know I need to get another turtle. My fiance Curtis is out of town at a music festival right now. No, I just want to wait. I want to go get another turtle with him, and I want to have a little burial ceremony, a little funeral, just celebrating Steve. This was Steve. Steve, whew. That fly just landed on me and I got scared. This is Steve Zissou. If any of you have seen The Life Aquatic, this idea really resonates with me that a lot of people talk about whenever topics like death are brought up, and it's the path of least resistance. So if we want to, we can put ourselves in an absolute hellhole around things like this that happen. We can make it just the worst experience of our life. It can scar us forever. It can really do us a lot of harm if we resist it and don't accept that it happened, and don't accept that there's nothing that we can do about it. That even if I could have done something differently, regretting it and just being overwhelmed, letting it take me over, is just not going to do anyone any good. It's not going to bring Steve back, and, you know, I don't need to do that to myself. Although it's only a turtle, I know that this isn't a person, and some people might think that this is really silly that I'm, you know, talking about this being such an empath. I right away just go straight to those last moments and think about what it must have felt like for him to get into the filter, for the sticks to be, you know, restricting his movement, and for him to, maybe he realized, I'm going to die in here, and that's just a really powerful, hard thing for me to think about. But just making peace with the situation, being so grateful that I was able to enjoy his little turtle presence for as long as I was able to, and, you know, always just that much more living every day, every moment of my day in connection with gratitude and in connection with love, and really never holding back when I want to express love to someone, but just being able to always reach out and touch and hold and hug and love and speak words to people. I think that a lot of times we want to say things and we want to do things, but for whatever reason we don't. And you just don't want to have anything to regret later, so why not just express it whenever you feel it, every moment that you feel it, to whoever. Even if it's not returned, you don't need to allow that to be a burden on yourself, because you were able to do what you wanted to do. And if someone didn't receive it in the way that you imagined they would receive it or whatever, that's not your problem. You did your thing. You did your work. Really, there are no easy ways to deal with things like death unless you're able to accept them and not harp over them and not allow yourself to just be destroyed by them. Death is hard. Death is really, really hard. But it's going to happen, and it's going to continue to happen. So in my mind, the best way to prepare for something like that, since we know that it's something that we just can't avoid, and why would we want to anyway, because death is a natural process of life, and just to evade pain and hurt by not ever having anything die, it's that same idea that through the greatest hardships are the most beautiful transformations. And I think today something important that I learned was not to hold back emotion, not to hold back my loving compassion and gratitude for people, and just always telling people that I love them, and always calling people whenever I'm thinking about them and I want to just put a little piece of connection out there. This is another thing. Death has such a way of ripping us into the present moment, especially if you don't have a practice of presence. Because when you learn of a death, you are brought so powerfully into that moment right there. There's nothing else going on in the world. It's like everything else is still. Have any of you ever experienced that before? Nothing else matters, nothing else exists, there are no other problems, you're not thinking about how hungry you are, how anything. You're not thinking about anything except what's going on right then. A lot of people, when they talk about presence, if you ask them to recall a time where they just felt so clear and so in the moment, they usually will mention a birth, a death, or their wedding, or a trauma. Something incredibly impactful, because those are the moments that are changing your life forever, a lot of times. And it's natural for us to be present because we're there, we're in attendance, instead of thinking about, oh, what am I gonna make for dinner? I'm always thinking of food. Or on your phones, just like lost in another universe. Death is a very powerful way of teaching the experience of presence. So, friends, if what I have said today resonates with you, if you have a story or an experience that you'd like to share, please leave it in the comment section down below. If you have a friend or family member that you believe will have some healing from this video, or maybe that someone should or needs to or wants to hear something like this, please share this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my videos, especially if this resonated with you, because I'm going to be doing a series on many things that are hard to deal with, hard to experience. So thank you so much, and I will see all of you in my next video. Have a beautiful day. Love today. Experience today. Communicate today. Connect today. Namaste. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. These are creatures. These are sentient beings. They may not have a way of thinking that's like ours, but they feel and they grieve. But they don't hang on to things.